So I'm a photographer and I want to make content. What do? Well, first what I do is I look at the different perspectives of that service that I'm in. So being a photographer, you're going to get clients, you as a photographer, and an intern. These are three different perspectives on how you can make content. And for example, a client, you can pretend you're a client hiring a photographer that's a good photographer with a good experience. You can be a client hiring a bad photographer. Those are two different videos that you can do. If you want to take a different layer, you can hire a bad photographer at a wedding. You can have a good photographer at a wedding. That's another two videos that you can do. And it can go deeper in different scenarios, different experiences with that. Next one is a photographer. You can do a photographer that has experienced with a bad client or with a good client. Those are two different videos. You can do a photographer experiencing a good intern or bad intern. Intern's perspective, you can have your experience with a good photographer or a bad photographer. And if you want to go in deeper, I had a bad experience at a wedding with a good photographer because the client was a bridezilla. Now you're mixing all three of them. The different perspectives and the different scenarios that you can think of in your head or what you've experienced are all videos in itself that you can make. Find one idea, stick with it, and then the next step on how I post it. So usually you can meme it, meme the client doing something. You can meme the photographer doing something. Trendy audios, whatever is trending through the audio, you can just create that scenario related to the trendy audio or the concept of the video, and you can relate it to whatever scenario that you came up. Original usually whatever concept or whatever video that you come up with that's original, that isn't a meme or a trend, and that you make on its own. That's usually what original. And you can educate by either talking in front of the camera, or you can just educate by doing a voiceover of me as a photographer. If we do this one, me as a photographer, you got to make sure that you hire the right intern, you qualify the right intern. You want to, scale, so you need to hire the right intern. Photographer, here's my experience on a bad client. Here's my experience on a good client. So this is how I usually make content. So photographer, different perspectives, client, photographer, intern, whatever scenarios you come up with, and then how to post them. I put the easy ones on top, meming and trendy audios, because the memes and the trendy audios are already there. And you don't really have to spend too much effort into figuring out on okay, how am I going to start to end it? The memes is usually what kind of captions am I going to use and what background am I going to use on top of the meme. The trendy audio, find out the audio, what's the concept of the audio, and either you film it yourself or find something that relates to it about the scenario that you make. The original and educating, these two, there are a lot of planning for these. So that's why it takes a little bit longer, and that's why a lot of people tend to not make these as much, because you really have to sit down and think, how am I going to come up with these? I can push out these two, I can push out 10 in an hour, where these two, I can push out maybe 1 to 2. And the only difference is, a bonus tip, the memes and trendy, they don't really last long at all. They usually come and go. So you make it lasts maybe a week or two, and then it goes away. The original and educating, those ones usually last a lot longer, because that's always going to provide value. Hopefully this makes sense. If you do have more questions or want to learn more, go ahead and DM me and follow for more.